I have a little task that I need to get done today. This is a bit of a repair job. Just a quick look here. This is the dump cart that I use with my tractor, and tailgate's broken. And it was generally in pretty rough shape to begin with. This spot weld broke off. There's 3 spot welds on there. 2 of them were gone a long time ago. This one held on for a long time, but obviously now needs to be fixed. But also, as you can see, this is pretty well bent up. So I'm gonna not just weld this piece back on, but I'm gonna reinforce it so that I don't have as much of an issue with bent parts. So I've got some angle iron in the shop, and I'll take this over there and cut some angle iron up to fit in various places. Here's the angle iron I have. I hope to cut all the pieces I need out of these 2. I'll need a piece for the bottom here, a piece for the top, and I also hope to get, I haven't measured it, but I hope to get enough out of it to put side pieces in, like so, as well. So I've got a little bit of cutting to do some measurements first, and then go from there. I'm going to put the camera on the stand and stay back a little bit with that, and you can watch me start with the measurements. I've got the tailgate clamped down to my little welding bench here. These I'll mark just want to hold it while I'm marking it. I'm going to mark it off of here. This is the outside edge of this top piece, which is the length that I need. This one should be just about the same length. It's a little bit of a challenge because that side is bent. But let me bring that back here. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Bring it back here so I can clamp it down flat and get a decent measurement. It is a weld mitt, so it doesn't have to be that accurate, but I do want it to be somewhat close. Paint stick. That dry for a minute. Take it over and cut it on a bandsaw. I'll bring it back when I'm done with that. No point in boring everybody to death watching a bandsaw cut. Once I do that, then I'll bring it back with the leftover, and I'll size these pieces. This leftover piece wasn't long enough to do both of these. So I went back into my stock and found that I have another piece that's 3 feet long, and I can cut enough out of this one to get both pieces. Now, I'm doing it this way rather than cutting a piece out of here, because then I end up with this, I end up with about a 6-inch long piece, whereas this one I end up with a foot long piece. I'd rather have the longer piece laying around in my stock than the short ones. Although I'm not going to throw away a short one either. It's just easier for me to maintain my stockpile here. So I'm going to cut this, I'm going to measure and cut this to length. In order to do that, I need to clamp this edge fairly securely so everything's flat, and then I can get a decent measurement. They have to do a little bending with a hammer, with a small hammer, straighten that edge up. I'm going to do this end because the edge is easier to get with that being broken off. Alright, I'm going to go get a couple of clamps. I'll be right back. I got the edges clamped. So the distance between the two is actually 1 1/8 feet. 12 inches plus 1/8. So I need to cut that at 11 7/8. That allows clearance for these side rails to fit in between the top and bottom rails. So since I'm going to weld it like so, this end is going to actually be butted up against the end of the side, the bottom and top rails. So I want to cut it just a little bit short of 12 inches, 11 7/8. That should do what I need to do. I'll cut it and come back. I don't have that quite right. Not quite right. Same thing on the other side. Alright, they're cut out. That's how they look. Going to stick this in there for a spacer, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this together with my fireball squares. It'll be like so. Like so. I know this will stick out the bottom here just a little bit, but I don't care. There's plenty of clearance, so that's not going to be an issue. And this end, is going to come in like so. So I might have to cut this out so this fits in. I think that's what I'll do. Just notch it out here so that it fits properly. Actually, no, I don't need to, because it goes right to the end. Goes like that. Does it? No, 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 no. I don't have to do it that way anyway. I can do it this way. Sorry. I don't have to cut anything. Just like that. Yeah. My fireball squares out and clamp it all up and tack it up. I'm going to clean the ends up a little bit so I get good clean welds. So that's all I have to do. And then when I'm done, I'll slide the whole thing in and then weld it, tack weld it together. Really doesn't need to be strong welds, just enough to hold it. So I'll probably do about a stitch welded, you know, a 1/2 inch bead every 6 inches, and that'll be plenty. So, all right, let me get things all dressed up and squared up and ready to weld. All right, this is the way the setup looks. I'm going to tack this corner and this corner. Then I'll take these clamps out of these squares out of the way and actually move them down to this end. I've got these, obviously these are magnetic squares. I've got these set in place just to hold that so I can get this end fairly well square. Unfortunately, I'm going to be welding and I don't want to ruin my camera, so I won't show the welding part. Yep, just the get up I want to wear on a hot summer day. Well, I got the tack welds on there nice. Only one problem. It's on backwards. So I gotta take it apart. I did a good job of welding, so it's not gonna come apart easy. That's the way it's supposed to look. Let me get welding. Okay, let's catch up. Frame fits in here. Pretty good. bad. I think what I'm going to do is I have to cut these off. The ones that are on the skin are now in the way, so I'll cut those off. I'll weld this bracket back on, drop the frame back in the skin, drill some holes, and bolt it on and call it done. So it won't take long at all. So I'm going to go out, use a cutting disc and an angle grinder, cut those two pieces off. I'll shine this up so I can use it. I can weld it, and then that'll be the end of it. Well, I'll be back. Alright, I've changed plans. I drilled 4 holes on each edge. And I'm just going to slide the frame in, and I'm going to use those holes to tack weld the frame on. Okay, just clamp it up now and weld it. Ain't it a thing of beauty? The answer to that is no, it's pretty freaking ugly. All I need to do is make it work, and that's all I care about. It's still way better than it was when it was even new, just ugly. Show you installed in a minute. It is installed. That's done. Now I go back to work.